Today we're going to be talking about 10 popular men's fragrances and whether or not they're still worth it.
Here's some codes to save you some cash on your next Middle Eastern, niche, or designer fragrances.
What's going on, guys? My name is Neeb. Welcome back to AROMATIX. Today we're going to be talking about popular men's fragrances for a multitude of different seasons, but all of these have been pretty hyped, and a lot of people know of these fragrances. Mall fragrances, designer fragrances, if you will, and we're going to be just addressing the facts of whether or not it's still worth it. Let's go ahead and get started with one of the first fragrances on this list, no particular order. This is called Nautica Voyage. This thing actually got me through a lot of days, man. It doesn't deserve any hate, if honestly, it doesn't deserve any, not if any, but it doesn't deserve the hate because it's around 20 to 30 bucks max. And generally speaking, this is something you can find at rack stores. You can find it readily available almost everywhere. It's one that got me quite a few compliments, but it's also one that I used to spray the shit out of, literally. I used to spray this on every like 3 hours, probably like a total of 8 to 10 times. And only then I got compliments, but it smells aquatic, wet, and cucumbers basically. And that's what this one helped me achieve with a lot of the ladies that I knew while wearing that. The cucumbers, obviously. But aside from that, it's not bad. I would say total rating, take it with a grain of salt, like with many ratings, they're subjective, but we're gonna factor in a few things. For this one, it's gonna be about a 6.5 out of 10. Still above average. The 5 would be neutral, and yeah, that's what it gets. So in terms of the performance is where it takes a little bit of a hit. I get about 3 to 4 hours tops with the fragrance, but still for the price, it does redeem itself. Scent profile, it's mid. It's nothing any crazy, but it's cooling, refreshing, and actually it's slightly like thirst quenching in a weird way. It's better than just good, but not anything spectacular for sure. And for that reason, I think 6.5 is a fair rating, considering everything else that's available at this price point. It's nothing spectacular. I kind of wanted to say like 7 for the scent profile and the price, but the longevity is where it takes a ding. I think 6.5 is relatively fair, and that's still a pretty high score, but it's relative to its competitors. When we're doing these ratings, keep in mind the price is where they're gapped in or where they're grouped in. So that's pretty much what I think about Nautica Voyage. Occasions is nothing serious. This is going to be daily driving, office. It's just really hot and you want to smell better than just skin, basically. Moving on to the next one is a famous one from YSL. It's called La Nuit de l'Homme. Beautiful fragrance. And such a damn shame how many people are actually signing this one off. Lavender, woody, spicy, cardamom, so sexy. Sure, it seems like it's been reformulated or it doesn't perform as good, but I've had no problem getting up to 8 hours of performance. You just have to spray it more, gentlemen. If you're people that are afraid of atomizers, then it's not going to be for you. Go sniff it and see for yourself. If you haven't put your nose on this, that you're missing out. But if you spray it like 10, sometimes I spray it 12 to even 14, it lasts that long. And if you have a problem with it doing it all at once, spray it on, walk away, give yourself like 10, 15 minutes, spray it on again. Get it on clothing as well for sure. You definitely want to get it on clothing. At that many sprays, I have no problems. It's not even something that wears thick or that's just too much. It works and it gets me compliments. The price for this is mid. I mean, it's mid. That's where it's going to take a little bit of a ding because of the performance, but the scent profile is a freaking 10. So I would place this at about a solid 8.5 out of 10. And really what takes it down is going to just be the performance because everything else is a 10. Seriously, if this was probably one of the best designers that I had in my collection for a long time, man, for a long time. All things considered, I still think it's worth it. You just got to pretty much get the big boy and don't be so shy on the trigger. Those little small bottles are not going to be worth it for me personally. But all things considered, it's a great one. 8.5 out of 10. And yes, still worth it. Moving on to the next one. This is by Versace and it's called Mano Fresh. Look at that dent. This is really nice. It's very different in a realm of cheap, fresh fragrances. It's woody, aquatic, slightly aromatic as well. That Brazilian star fruit or the Brazilian rosewood along with the star fruit makes this one stand out a bit, honestly. It was more unique when I was beginning into like these designers. It's not anything that's gonna be like spectacular, but it smells really good for me personally. The only problem with it is I never got more than about 5 hours and I would cake this thing on. I would cake it on, you guys. It's crazy, but I absolutely love this fragrance. Loved and loved. The star fruit, the anise, etc. A little bit of an aromatic spice, fresh, aquatic, a really good one. Total performance wasn't really the best, and scent profile was pretty good, so I would give this a solid 7.5 out of 10. It's definitely above Nautica Voyage, but not by too much because of that performance. One that's nostalgic to me, and I wore it for a long time. And since we're talking about Versace fragrances, before we jump to the next one though, the occasions for this, nothing serious, nothing serious. This is like t-shirt and jeans pretty much. And for the price on discounters, you can find a lot of these relatively cheap. Actually, for all of these, you can find on discounters. Check the description. We'll put down the lowest prices that I can find. Next one up is going to be Versace Pour Homme, another Versace fragrance. So this one is like an every man's collection must-have, seriously. Fresh, aquatic, simple. Not going to be anything spectacular. It's not going to get crazy compliments, but it smells really good. In fact, it might actually get compliments because the performance of this this is slightly above average, I would say. I get more out of that than I do with Mano Fresh. Oddly enough, I get more just because I would think that this has more aromatics. It'll, you know, project a little bit harder, but no, I get more out of Parome. Parome is refreshing, it's cooling as well, and for the price, everything considered, I would give this one an 8 out of 10. Definitely more performing than Mano Fresh for me, and in a sense, it's going to be more mass appealing than it as well, making this one more appropriate to dress up slightly, like to the office on a daily, making this one a little bit easier to wear even during the office or to the office, because it has certain aspects of like both of these with more longevity. So as a signature scent, you could easily do that. If you're looking for a freshie to signature scent, you can grab it, and yes, it's absolutely still worth it in my opinion. Moving on to the next fragrance is this little rinky-dink bottle. It's called Acqua di Gio Profondo Eau de Parfum. So yeah, this isn't really my favorite from the lineup. It's not a bad fragrance by any means. Original Profondo, and this one did what it did really good. It didn't really need any improvements, and although not a bad fragrance, I feel like this one does a little bit more with the benzoin, etc., the mastic. I still feel like this is one where the original is better. All of the accords you get much more of in this one. You get much more accords with the Profondo, the original, and the Eau de Parfum just seems to be concentrating in like 1 or 2 accords or lesser accords than the actual Profondo original. So in a sense, if you want something that's a little bit more of like this frankincense style freshie, you might be better off with the Eau de Parfum, but for somebody who wants an all year round better from the whole Acqua di Gio, it's gonna be the Profondo for sure. This is one where I got mixed up with all of the flankers and I just didn't know what was going on anymore, so I decided to just pick them up, differentiate them, and the differences are not that great, but I will say that I usually enjoy fragrances that give me more accords, give me more bang for buck basically, which is what it translates into. So not a bad smelling fragrance by any means, but if I were to have to rank this, I'd give this like a 7, 6.5 I think, and I would give the Profondo like a 7 to a 7.5. Let's say Profondo is about a 7.5 because the performance of this is actually pretty good, and in comparison to this one, like the performance is relatively the same. So ultimately what it comes down to is which one smells better, and for me they both smell good, but I get more with the Profondo. So for the 5th spot, it's Profondo. I don't think it's that worth it. I mean, if you enjoy the mastic resins, then you're probably gonna like it a little bit more, but rather I would say that the Profondo is better. But rather I would say that the Profondo will give you a little bit more and more bang for buck. So that's a fragrance where I feel like you're still better off going with the Profondo or sticking to the Profondo. In terms of the performance, both of them, like I said, I can stretch up to 8 hours, but nothing really more than that. Aside from that, the occasions, this isn't anything serious. This is like daily masculine at summertime. Although it does smell pretty good, you can wear it to the office as well. Nothing I would say for dates, etc. Moving on to the next one is the Wanted Eau de Parfum, or Wanted, just the original flanker of the Eau de Parfum and including the original Wanted. So I find this one to be slightly better than the original Wanted. Obviously, the Wanted DNA is pretty old, but a lot of people knew it. But in a world of a lot of the flankers, this happened to be one of them. Now, they have a lot of great flankers, and this, I personally wouldn't give it more than like a 6 out of 10. It doesn't smell like anything bad by any means, and if you wanted to pick this up at the right price, I would still say that it's worth it. However, in a world of like the most Wanted Intense, even the most Wanted Eau de Parfum, I like the Intense the best, and even Wanted by Night, I would say that this one is one that I would personally pass on. I would give it a 6 out of 10 just because it's not the newest thing in the world, and in comparison to a lot of their other fragrances, a lot of their other great fragrances, this is one that I could have done without personally. But like I said, if you enjoyed the original Most Wanted, probably gonna like this one, and for the right price, it's still not bad. So one that I would pass and probably go for Intense Eau de Parfum, one that I would personally pass and just stick to the Most Wanted Intense Eau de Parfum, which is a freaking 10, but still not the worst thing in the world. I would say 6, but I think it's fair to give it like a 6.5 out of 10. Nothing spectacular, but still worthy of a purchase for the right price. Moving on to the next one is YSL Eau de Parfum. Absolutely still worth it. Absolutely still worth it. This is a scent profile that I personally would give like a 9 out of 10 in its realm, in its price point. Damn near a 10 out of 10. I want to say that the scent profile is perfection. It's a 10 out of 10. It's got aromatics, it's got woods, some amber woods, and it's very mass appealing, gets a crap ton of compliments. So in that sense, yes, 100% still relevant, 100% still worth it, will get you compliments, and you cannot go wrong with something like this. Performance, projection, everything. Honestly, it deserves like a 9.5 out of 10, but because it's not anything brand, well, it in itself is one of the ones or fragrances that I think was brand new for itself. So 9.5 out of 10. I want to give it a 9.5 out of 10. In a designer realm, especially for versatility, you can't deny the fact that it is exactly that. In terms of occasions, it's, like I said, versatile. You could wear it to a date, you could wear it to the gym, office, literally everywhere. Next one, Valentino Born in Roma, the original. Relatively simple, Smells pretty good, but I would say it's still kind of, it depends on what's worth it for you. This is one where I would say, yes, it's still worth it, but for a specific crowd. If you're looking for something that's easy, that get compliments, that's just fresh and a little bit woody, this is going to be exactly that. Mass appealing, and it lasts a good 7 hours. It'll get you through the workday, it'll get you through school, and it will get attention as well. Slightly aromatic, citrus, and woody. It's as simple as that. Nothing spectacular, nothing too brand new, but it just works. It just works, guys. For the right price, this is absolutely still worth it. And whenever I smell this thing, I'm like, yeah, that smells good. I don't question it or anything. Scent profile of this, I would give it like a solid 8.5. I would give it an overall score at an 8 out of 10. In terms of its performance, in terms of the scent profile, in terms of where it scores with other fragrances in its same category, it definitely deserves exactly that. And I would say, yes, it's worth it for the right price and for the correct audience. If you're somebody who's looking for something in the same vein as something like this that does, you know, everyday compliments, etc., but less sweet, then that's where I would say this is a great one. Occasions, you can dress it up slightly, not too much, but you can also dress it down as well. That's pretty much it. If you wanted to wear it during like summer day dates, potentially, but nothing more than that. Moving on to the next one is Terre d'Hermes, the original. I got the big ass bottle. Is it worth it? So this is a scent profile that smells really good, actually. It's citruses and vetiver, basically. Simple as that. Green, woody, citrus, fresh. I think it's absolutely still worth it. The performance isn't the best thing in the world, but it's still definitely worth it. I would give this a total of about an 8 out of 10. Because of the performance, it loses a couple of points. This is for somebody who's going to the office. This is for somebody who wants to smell like sophistication. It smells like money and maturity. Definitely smells more mature than just your, you know, average gym scent or gym goer, basically. It's not something you should wear to the gym. Its occasions are honestly even day dates during the summertime or where you just want to smell clean. Office, school, it's perfect for exactly that, especially during the hotter weather, I should say. So yeah, that's pretty much it with that one. Nothing too complex, nothing too much more to say, and it's very specific DNA, especially for those who were already looking into the more simple style DNAs. Moving on to the last fragrance on this list, Noir Extreme. Is it still worth it? Hell yeah. Hell freaking yeah. Love this stuff. Spiced vanilla ice cream. That's it. Simple as that, man. I give this one a solid 9 out of 10. It smells amazing and was truly one of my top designer fragrances for a long time. Top 10 designer fragrances, and could potentially still be, honestly. I will be making that list very soon, but regardless of the fact, this is one that lasts all day to the next day. It gets a lot of compliments. It is very oriental, so if you're not one for spices, not gonna be for you, but otherwise smells amazing. Even for the price, this deserves a 9 out of 10. Occasions, dates. Dates where you want to smell like a snack, period. And the price, like I said, you can find them on discounters. If you check the description, I'll put a couple of links down below. And that's pretty much all I think about all these fragrances, and this is, yes, still worth it. I hope you guys enjoyed watching this video. Make sure to leave a like, hit that subscribe button. Till the next one, peace.